Hi there, so David and Sue talking relationships, back again. So we were going to talk about differences of belief that you may have in terms of what you have in relationships. So it could be religion, it could be culture, it could be personalities, and how do you accept and integrate those differences in a relationship, or in fact do you choose, if those differences are there, do you choose even to be in a relationship? And then if you do, then how do you manage that so that you can have a good relationship in spite of the differences? So you've got
So I guess we've seen a number of religious traditions have this idea of in Christianity it's expressed as don't be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. So don't marry someone who's not of your faith. But we know lots of relationships work quite well of people with different beliefs, backgrounds. We have a couple who are good friends who are she's Hindu and he's Sikh. So they got married in both traditions and they're very happy. And we have quite a lot of couples who one or other partner is Christian and the other is not, probably not virulent anti-theist atheist, but not an observing believer of any kind, that work well. So and obviously not just religion, but culture. If you're from different cultural backgrounds, if one person's from China and the other person's from Australia or whatever that happens to be.
But also it can be personality wise, like like take you and I for instance. You are introvert and I'm definitely extrovert, and this ended up almost being a bit of an issue when I had to go into hospital under surgery, and I sort of went, oh good, we'll have people over, that people can come and see me from see me that day. But David went to, I think, church at that time, and sort of said, oh no, Sue's had major surgery, she'll want to rest and don't come. So it was like then when I came up and where's all these people, because I get energy from being with people, you get energy from being
alone
by yourself
or just with the family. So I think in all of these differences between us in a relationship, what we tend to do, if we don't think about it, is project ourselves onto the other person.
Yes.
We assume that other people think like we think. So me, as an introvert, assume that when other people are feeling terrible, they want to be alone and go into their cave, whereas you'd be quite the reverse.
Yes.
And so if it had been me in hospital, you may have brought 1 million people and I may have been very annoyed. So, either way, it kind of works that way.
Yeah. And I think so how would we, how could we manage that sort of differences? I think there is that area of, let's look at our assumptions. Let's look at, what my perceptions are with this. Let's talk about what's your idea and then what's my idea, and then how can we sort of live with that. So
So I mean, in a relationship, obviously, different cultures have different gender roles. So what is the woman in the relationship supposed to do? If there is a woman in the relationship, what's the role of a mother? What's the role of a father? Does one person have to be the sole breadwinner? Well, that's not really something that happens as much these days.
Yeah.
So how do we actually renegotiate those roles? And then how do we do that across cultural differences, where my expectations about what each of us should be doing are quite different from yours, without that ending up in conflict?
I think in that way, we came up with an idea that in terms of roles, especially sort of cultural or things like this, is who is the best at the role, who cares about the role more, who's more suited to the role, because I suppose in our relationship a lot of times I've taken on probably more of the male role, and you are more nurturing than I am because of where you've come from, where I've come. So I'd be doing more of the maintenance of the house. I make furniture.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this earlier in one of these videos, that not just assuming that it's that because it was that way in the past, it has to be that way forever. I guess the other thing that sometimes complicates it is that particular cultures and particularly religion in some way tends to imply that other beliefs are lesser or wrong or whatever.
Yeah.
So, how do you get around that notion when your religion or your culture or whatever tells you that the other person is just wrong about the nature of the universe,
Well, I think in that way, it comes back to, I don't know whether you've sort of seen my blog on choice, it comes back to, that's your choice. You have made the choice to be in this religion, this, maybe not the culture, but to accept the dictates of that culture. It's still your choice. You've got your life, you've got your everything else, and so has everyone else. So it's then not about imposing your beliefs or your goals and expecting them to fall in line, because they've got their choice of their life and how they want to live it. And I think that if you get that right, knowing that this is who I am, and how can we work together to be able to make that manageable, and then to be able to say, well, that's your belief, and let's just agree to differ and leave it at that and move on. Because if you keep harping all the time, then you then start getting conflict, then you start getting resentment, then
it's putting the relationship first.
Yes.
That choice where my priority is that I'm going to be with you, and therefore we will figure out the rest of it.
Yes, and it's about figuring out, but it's that open communication, that honesty about how you're feeling, and that honesty about being able to sort of share, and to accept those differences, and accept that each person has the right to choose and live the life that they need to live, and then walk beside you as you journey together through life. So, yes.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. So this is Sue and David signing off, and make comments, give us topics that you want to for us to explore, and we'll catch you later. Bye for now.